Hello and welcome into the Skraby Show for November 18th, 2025. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. As the guy said, I will be out tomorrow. I'll tell you a little bit about that later. But I just got some breaking news coming through my phone right now. And that is Mr. LeBron James and his sciatica are healed because he's going to make his 23rd season debut tonight against the Jazz for the Lakers. So if you're a Laker fan, if you're a basketball fan, LeBron James will be on the court tonight, which is a good thing. It's a good thing for sure because 23 seasons, that is insane. I don't even know how someone can play at a high level like LeBron does for 23 seasons, but he does do that and he will make his debut against the Jazz tonight. And let's just talk about that whole news story that the Salt Lake City news station put up, which was the Padres logo and crossed out with San Diego, and it said Salt Lake City Padres. There's blood in the water for some of these cities, and Salt Lake City has wanted a baseball team for a very long time. I don't care. You are not going to take this team. They're going nowhere. And it honestly, if you are an owner or someone who is going to buy the team and you decide that you want to move the team, which again is not going to happen, I don't even know how you made your money because it would be so stupid for someone to take this team out of San Diego. It would be so dumb. It's not a blank check, but for the most part, you have the entire city support. And I don't want to see those little graphics of the Salt Lake City Padres. It's kind of disgusting to me a little bit. It actually kind of made me a little angry because I didn't want to see that happen. And no one wants another baseball team in a mountain area like Salt Lake City. No one wants another baseball team in that area. Okay? That's it. Trevor says Padres ain't moving. I agree. They're not moving. But that TV station smelled blood in the water with the announcement of the potential sale, and they went for it. So there you go. That's my thoughts. Do not touch my team, Salt Lake City, or else I will be very angry at you forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Tonight, we're going to talk about Luis Campusano real quick because that seems, we haven't really talked about him lately, but the Padres do need to make a decision on it. We're going to talk about AJ Preller real quick. And then later in the show, we're going to talk a little bit about a former New Orleans college basketball player has admitted that he was shaving points during some of his games, and he has, his reasons for it. So we're going to talk about that. Also, Dan Campbell, the kneecap cannibal, the Lions head coach, he went for it on fourth down so many times on Sunday night against the Eagles, and they did not convert unless they did at the end of the game. I know for the majority of the game, they did not convert a fourth down. So we're going to talk about whether or not fourth downs are, going for it on fourth down, if that's the right thing to do. But let's start with Luis Campusano because they're going to have to make this decision. And AJ Preller has already said, he said to Jeff Sanders of the San Diego Union Tribune last month, quote, he's going to be in our mix next year for sure. I'm hoping his experiences this year are going to help him overall as a player. So the Campusano thing is weird to me, and we talked about this during the season, but the Campusano thing is weird to me because he's just tearing the cover off the baseball every other level except for Major League Baseball, except for the level you need to tear the cover off the baseball. And his defense just wasn't good enough for the Padres to put him out there and try to get some production out of him. So here's where I'm at with Luis Campusano. Obviously, he's under, team control and all of that. But I think it's time to move on. I think it's time maybe for him to have different scenery. We hear that from time to time that players sometimes just need a different look and a different feel. But I think we kind of already know what Luis Campusano is going to give us. So I'm not sure, outside the fact that he is on the roster, and he is a catcher, and they only have really one major league catcher in Freddie Fermin. I just think it's time to move on. I think it's time to stop using resources on trying to figure out whatever it is you're trying to figure out. Because at a certain point, I think you give someone so many chances, and you just have to cut bait. And I know that some people are going to say that he could figure it out at any second. He could figure it out this year. He could figure it out this year. You're absolutely right. He could. But some of the stuff we saw last year, I mean, he went 0 for 21 in his 10 games at the big league level. And yes, I know that's a tiny sample size, and I know that it's not easy to do what he did and go from the minor leagues to the major leagues and make that adjustment in only 10 games. I understand that. I think he needs more games for sure. But this comes off of a season where he hit 227 in 91 games in 2024. And you got to think, like, where did the 2023 version of Luis Campusano go? Because that was his best year of his career, 1.1 WAR, and he in 49 games he hit 319. He had an OPS of 847. He hit 7 home runs, drove in 30 RBIs. I think that's the guy that they keep holding on to. I guess I will in fantasy sports, in fantasy football, like there's a guy every single year that I end up picking up or drafting because I'm like, oh, he's right there. He's about to break out. He's about to be the guy I know he's going to be. And I waste all my time, and he never does it. So I feel like that's kind of where Campusano is right now. I feel like he's the guy that we know has talent, but has not, for whatever reason, been able to figure out the talent and do it at a consistent level. And if he can figure that out here in the offseason, I think he hit a home run today wherever he's playing. So he still can hit the ball. He still has that talent. But why does it not translate to the big league level? That's the most frustrating part. So after 6 years in the big leagues with the Padres, he's had 546 at bats. His batting average for his career is 240. Ooh, his OPS is an ominous number of 666. But I think we kind of know what we're getting from him. And I think it's time to move on. I think that they could figure something out and get a guy who's just, I guess, more consistent, number one. But I need a blank canvas, because when Luis Campusano is called up, it's like, okay, we've seen this. What is he going to do? Strike out? And that's mean of me to say because I couldn't hit a baseball. But it's what we have seen this entire time. Let's see. Campy seems like another V-Rod disaster. KG, for some reason, the guy's moved on to Houston, and KG still wants to crush Victor Rodriguez for something. I don't understand it. Reckoner says, I don't want to get rid of him. He's going to break out at some point. So you're on the same sort of path that I was on. Let's see. Campy's a 4A player, too good for AAA, but hasn't been good enough for the bigs. That's kind of true. Let's see. Also, if Campy wasn't worth a lick, AJ wouldn't keep him around. And Trevor says 8-inch spin movement in bigs. Yeah, obviously, big leagues are a much different animal than the minor leagues. But if Campy wasn't worth a lick, AJ wouldn't keep him around. I'm starting to wonder if AJ is thinking the same way we are thinking. He's going to break out at some point. And I guess if you're looking at it, he doesn't cost a lot of money. So it's not like something that they need to figure out for payroll reasons, because he's a back and forth player from the minor leagues to the major leagues. So it's not a financial concern as to why they would need to get rid of him. He's making $1 million, an estimated $1 million for 2026. But I think enough is enough. I don't think you can go into this season, from what we've seen already from Luis Campusano, I don't think you can go into this season and think that he's going to be a full season long backup catcher. I just don't see it. Eric says he's under control. Yes, he is under control, and that will be great for the Padres, obviously, but it will be great for other teams too. So you could use that as a sales piece. I have a feeling they could get something for Luis Campusano, just because. Why don't you go and find a team that feels the way you do? He's going to break out one day, and you have to kind of gamble, I guess, because if he doesn't break out, then you win. And if he does break out, then every Padre fan is going to be like, remember when Luis Campusano was on the team? So it's kind of there's only one way to win in that situation, and it's just be right that you know that he's never going to break through at the big league level. And also, his defense isn't great. His defense is some of the poorest defense in baseball. And we all know how important that catcher position is. I mean, Fermin did a great job. Diaz did a great job. Maldonado had some struggles, but he did retire. So in closing everything up on Luis Campusano, my thought is, after 6 seasons with the Padres, I think it's time to go in a different direction. You've given him a lot of time. And this isn't me trying to be dramatic. But I think after 6 years, you know what you're going to get. You know that you're going to get a guy that might be able to hit sometimes, or you're going to get a guy who didn't even have a hit at the big league level last season, again, in 10 games. So I know that's unfair. But Luis Campusano, I think it's time. All right, you can watch the show if you want. You can go to Facebook, 97.3 The Fan. You can go to YouTube at The Skraby Show. You could also go to 97.3 The Fan on YouTube, Twitch, 97.3 The Fan, and then on X. We are now on X on the 97.3 The Fan SD Twitter. So you can go there and watch the show as well. Although if you do comment, I cannot see comments from, or I can see comments from X. I just can't respond to them on the chat. So there you go. When we get back here, we're going to talk about the qualifying offers, Dylan Cease, Michael King. We're also going to talk about that New Orleans college basketball player. So we're just going to keep sliding all the topics down as we go through the Skraby Show. Thanks for listening. I'll be back shortly on 97.3 The Fan.
Old.
All guests on 97.3 The Fan joining us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Matt Skraby here with you, 97.3 The Fan, The Skraby Show. Again, you can watch us on YouTube at The Skraby Show. I'm trying to get to a certain level of subscribers so I could start doing more cool stuff. So if you can, please do. YouTube.com/ at The Skraby Show. Skraby is spelled SKRAB as in boy, Y. I always say B as in boy because when I was growing up, my mom would like order food or something from a restaurant and she'd have to give the last name. It was always B as in boy. So I've just taken that and ran with it. Ran with the B as in boy. So everybody knows if you were, well, not everybody, but if you were listening earlier in Gwen and Chris and you heard me be a little bit angry, my dog, Lucky, he is a golden retriever husky. He woke me up at 3:32 a.m. this morning so that he could go to the bathroom, but it was raining and he didn't want to go outside. It was a whole thing. It woke me up. I never got back to sleep. So I've been a little grumpy today. And that's, I got in a better mood once the show moved on and everything like that until I said North Dakota. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to the 3:40 p.m. segment with Gwen and Chris. But I have something for you that I think will make people happy. And I walked into work today, and we always have one of the stations playing on the overhead speakers. So it could be country, it could be alt, it could be sunny, it could or sunny 98.1, or it could be Kixie 96.5. So I walk in, and I'm like, I hear Christmas music. I hear Christmas music, which means everybody, Kixie 96.5 has started their Christmas music. If you don't know, every single year they transform into Christmas music. And from now until after Christmas, you're going to be able to hear all the hits. So I got a little excited. I got to say, I'm not much of a holiday person in general, not just the holidays, like these upcoming holidays. I don't know. Maybe call me lame or something, but I'm just not into it. But I don't care who you are. Christmas music makes you happy. Christmas music just puts you into a good feel. I don't know why, but all that nostalgia comes back. All those good feelings of being a kid comes back. And so when I walked into work today and I heard that Christmas music on the loudspeaker, I was immediately put into a good mood. So if you are in a bad mood like I was earlier, go ahead and turn on after 7 p.m. Turn on Kixie 96.5 and you'll hear some Christmas music. The Aztecs are going to be playing tonight. Magoon Guath is back. So we'll be the guys will be talking about that tomorrow. I'll share where I'm going tomorrow in a little bit. But let's talk about Michael King and Dylan Cease. The qualifying offer, $22+ million for 1 year. So basically the qualifying offer is teams can offer it to a player, the player can accept it, then they get that amount of money for 1 season. And if they don't accept it, if they reject the qualifying offer, the team will get a draft pick, or 2 in this case for the Padres, because Michael King and Dylan Cease both rejected the qualifying offer, which was expected. The Michael King thing it's not about him, but it does bother me a little bit that there was so much hype, there was so much fanfare, there was so much behind Michael King being a Padre, and I know it's not his fault. I'm sure that he would have rather pitched last year than not, but it just feels like there was, and he could come back with the team. Like they can offer him a contract in free agency to come back, but I just don't think that's going to happen. But it seems like the Michael King Padres era, if he doesn't come back to the team, is just kind of open-ended. I don't think we ever really could say whether or not the Padres won the trade. If anything, I think the Padres might lose the trade in that regard of Juan Soto, because Michael King, you only got 1 year out of him, basically. And it just is disappointing because I thought Michael King was going to be a guy for the Padres that we were going to see for years, but it just doesn't seem like that's going to happen. It's just not looking that way. And I don't know. I don't know. Again, it's not Michael King's fault because he got injured, but it just seems like there was more meat left on the bone with the Michael King thing, and it's just unfortunate that he wasn't able to pitch as much as he wanted to this year. So anyway, Michael King, Dylan Cease reject their qualifying offer, and the Padres get 2 draft picks because they were over the luxury tax. The Padres draft picks will come after the 4th round in the draft. So there is some benefit to this whole thing. They are going to be able to select a couple players, and hopefully they turn into something. But four players did accept the qualifying offer. Trent Grisham of the Yankees, which sounds like a pretty good payday for him. He did have a good season, goodish season. I mean, he hit a bunch of home runs, but he's also a lefty in Yankee Stadium. And Gleyber Torres of the Tigers picked it up. Shota Imanaga of the Cubs. That's a little bit surprising. He picked it up, and now I'm forgetting who the 4th person that picked up their option was. Oh, Brandon Woodruff of the Brewers picked up his option. So those are the only 4 guys, but that's a record. A record amount of players picked up their option, and that would be 4 now. Trevor says, I remember you playing with King's bobblehead for 15 minutes during a tape segment. That is true. That is true. I did play with the King bobblehead. Gonzo says my meat on the bone was really weird analogy. That's fine. A resident Dodger fan, even though he's a San Diegan. We do love him, Oscar. Said, in my Dodger opinion, I think they should sign King and let Cease walk. I agree. I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't know that they're going to be bringing back Michael King. I think he's going to make or command too much money. And that is something that I know the Padres are paying attention to these days, which all teams are. They say they're going to spend the same amount of money as they would even if the team wasn't exploring a sale. So let's just hope that does happen. Speaking of signing guys, AJ Preller. I know that he's contracted through 2026. Where's this extension? And I guess they don't really have to get it done anytime soon, but we keep seeing this reporting about AJ Preller being extended, and it's just, I don't know if there's just negotiations going on or if they decided that they weren't going to talk about this until later, but the reporting is AJ Preller is going to get an extension, and we just haven't really seen that yet. Clay says, Skraby, not to be down on King, but the injury wasn't really defined. Entering free agency could be his agent wanted him to not pitch until near the season end. Well, that's a conspiracy. I don't think that's the case, though. I don't think that Michael King doesn't seem like that type of guy, even though agents do get in there sometimes and make themselves known when they're not supposed to be known. But hey, that's just how it works these days. All right. Matt Skraby, Skraby Show, 97.3 The Fan. I was reading this morning, and the betting stuff is going to continue to happen. But mainly now I'm looking at some of the people that are coming out and saying that they did bet or they did point shave or they did do certain things to win bets for people. But there was a college basketball player from New Orleans. His name, Day Hunter. He admitted his role in a point shaving operation. He actually went on Good Morning America and said that he did it to get money to support his family. So you can understand that. He said, I just had a child. The school wasn't paying me money, so I was trying to get money to take care of my child. Hunter, he also admitted he lied to the NCAA when asked about the situation. Said, I told him I wasn't doing it. I told him I didn't know anything, but basically the whole time I knew everything. So he basically did this to get money for his family, which I cannot, criticize him for. Although the way you did it was not in a great way. You were point shaving, so I don't agree with that part of it. I also struggle financially from time to time. Not from time to time. I'm pretty much not struggling financially, but radio just doesn't pay what it used to pay. That's why I have two jobs now. But you don't see me going out and doing illegal things to make money. Like, I think that sometimes I got to be careful with this because I don't want to come down on the guy for making a choice to provide for his family because maybe he doesn't have the upbringing that some of us did. And maybe he's just in a way where he doesn't have another way to get money. So I can put myself in his position and think, hey, this is a good opportunity. But you have to deal with all of the ramifications of doing this. And if he is saying that he was lying to the NCAA about this, how many other players are lying to the NCAA about this? Like, way like this is just getting started, in my opinion. There's going to be more and more players that come out either after the fact or get caught point shaving or trying to make money off of bets. And we're never going to put the toothpaste back in the tube, as they say. It's never going to happen. Betting and sports are now intermingled forever. But if you're a player, you got to really, really think if the benefits outweigh the risk. And in the case of Emmanuel Clase, who's making lots of money, one of the best closers in baseball, could have got a new contract for millions and millions and millions of dollars. He was doing it for very small amounts. And when I say small, they're large to me and you. But for him, he was doing it for like $5,000 or $10,000. And when you have way more money on the line, I just don't understand it whatsoever. I really don't get it. Katrina says, yeah, low pay players needing money to make ends meet. Yes, that's what it is. And these people who find these players and convince them are bad people who only need that player as a means to an end. And then once that player can't provide for them anymore, they're going to move on. And I understand again that he needed to make money for his family, but there are other ways to do that without doing illegal things. The reason that I don't do illegal things is because I don't want to go to jail. And so I work as hard as I can on a day-to-day basis. I have two jobs, but I'm not going to do illegal things. So I think it's a little bit of a cop out when these guys are like, yeah, I needed money, so I did it. Okay, go find another job. I don't know. Most of us listening right now do not have the opportunity to do illegal things and make more money. And I feel like I'm just going off a little bit too much on this guy. And I want to make it clear that I don't know his background. I don't know his situation, but I'm more putting it into, as a whole. Just because you need to make money doesn't mean you have to do illegal things. I have tried to make it in the radio game for a long time. And so I now I've accepted that I'm just going to have two jobs. And you know what? I like working both jobs. Speaking of both jobs, when we get back, I'll tell you where I'm going tomorrow. I'll also talk about Dan Campbell and his fourth down stuff. And then the Daily Gripe is maybe one of the weirdest and grossest things I've ever griped about. Stick around. Matt Skraby, Skraby Show, 97.3 The Fan. I have been off social media since the show started, or the Gwen and Chris show started, but I was just made aware of some drama from the chat at G Fayeth. Thank you for letting me know this. Sometimes I miss this stuff, but I'm glad that you said something because apparently Shohei Ohtani was upset with the Padres after he got hit in the back by Robert Suarez. We all remember this when Fernando was getting hit and then Shohei got hit. Both managers came out and they were all ejected from the game. But apparently, Dodgers announcer Steven Nelson, Ohtani made a notable change to his routine after that game in order to send the Padres a message. Let me see if this, I'm just learning about this, so let me see if I can get this video going right now. Let's see. From Blake Harris. Let's see. Here we go. We're all learning this together. This is from ESPN LA.
Yeah, I'll give you something. When the next time you guys talk about the Dodgers-Padres rivalry, if you notice, if you watch Shohei Ohtani at the start of every game, his first plate appearance, he walks to the plate and he tips his helmet to the opposing dugout, right? And then he does his salute. There is only one team and one manager that he stopped doing that for, and that was Mike Shilton, the San Diego Padres, after what happened at Dodger Stadium where they threw up and in and hit him with Suarez at 100 in the back. And, of course, he handled that with grace in the moment. He calmed the tempers for the Dodger dugout. Do not come out of here. Stay in. I'm fine. He laughed about it with Suarez at the All-Star game. But in the ensuing Dodger-Padres series after that, there was no more pregame salute. And so I thought, so we talk about manners and respect. I think his understanding that respect is a two-way street.
Yep.
And once you cross that line, he is aware of it. And I thought that spoke volumes. He never said anything about it, nor will he ever. But that silence, it says a lot, I think.
All right, well, just thinking about it live on the air, I don't... Where should I go with this? Because I don't necessarily care. I think this is not Shohei Ohtani lost respect for the Padres. I think this is more like, hey, good. The Padres got in his head a little bit. He's angry. I mean, that could be a bad thing because then he could go on a tear. But I don't. If Shohei Ohtani is upset that he was hit by a pitch, then tell his pitchers to stop hitting Fernando Tatis Jr. with a pitch. It was like beanball there for a couple weeks in a row. Thank you for bringing this to me, G. Faith. I did not see this today. I haven't really been on Twitter today, so maybe this is why. But this is just a Dodger. The Dodgers people just trying to start something after they won a championship. Okay, great. Mike Schultz not even in the dugout anymore, so we'll see if Ohtani goes and tips his hat again, but Ohtani is just such a great guy. He tips his hat to every single team. I will not go in the direction of sports betting because that is the low-hanging fruit, as they say. I need to think about this a little bit more. There's only one team and one manager he stopped doing that for. We talk about manners and respect. I think his understanding is respect is a two-way street. Once you cross that line, he's aware of it. So scary, Mr. Ohtani. So scary. I mean, I think it is a nice gesture that he tips his cap to the visiting dugout every single game. But this doesn't bother me in the least. In fact, it makes me it makes me happy. Makes me happy that the Padres have gotten into Shohei Ohtani's head so much that now he's making a conscious effort to not tip his cap to the visiting dugout when he goes up to bat for the first time. That tells me that he's thinking about it. Doesn't it? Doesn't it tell you that he's thinking about it? I don't know. Very strange. Very strange for this story to come out. And by the way, can we stop watching every frame of video to try to find something to come up with? Like this, someone sat there. I really hope that this person who found this out went to every single first pitch of every single game since that Padres series to see if he did it, because I doubt that happened. I doubt that happened. Maria says, Otani and Dave Roberts, I swear, always starting something. I mean, Otani did defuse the situation. We actually all said, hey, that's a pretty good move for a guy who could have gone crazy for getting hit in the back at a hundo. And then didn't he joke about it with Robert Suarez at the All-Star game? I seem to remember a video of Shohei Otani and Robert Suarez talking and kind of laughing a little bit. So I believe, as I've come around in circles to this whole story, I believe this is just a radio station or a reporter, whoever said this, that is trying to get some clicks. And I gave them some clicks. Let's see. Yeah, Dave Roberts started the whole thing with the sinister sling. I don't know. I will bring this up. I'm not here tomorrow, so I'm gonna have to remember to. But this, when you need a villain, the Padres are gonna be that villain, and I like being the villain. I would much rather be the villain than the good guy. If we're playing it like in real life, obviously I want to be the good guy. I don't want to be a villain in real life. But if you're in sports or movies, playing the villain is always more fun than playing the good guy. I think that's true. But, oh man, how am I ever going to go to sleep tonight knowing that Shohei Otani did not tip his cap to Mike Schilt and the Padres? Again, I believe I would have to go back, so maybe I'm speaking out of school here. I believe the Dodgers started with the Plunk Fest first. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to go back, but I believe that they started the whole thing. That is a bummer. But thank you for bringing that story to me. I did not see it. And that's probably because I was not on Twitter today at all. Excuse me. Dan Campbell, fourth downs. This is what the Lions do. They go for it on fourth down all the time. And Troy Aikman praised Lions coach Dan Campbell in week 3 for his big onions. But the Lions went for it 5 times on fourth down against the Eagles. They did not convert any of them. And I hate it when they say on the broadcast, like, the analytics, they go for it. I don't think that analytics work in football. And the reason is there are so many different factors in football that you just cannot predict. What's the weather? Did you lose a lineman during the game? Did they lose a defensive lineman during a game? Like, I hate it when they go, well, analytics says to go for it. I don't think you could put a probability on a football play because anything could happen. The snap could hit the center's butt and hit the ground. Like, there could be a fumbled snap. There's so many different things that happen. But people are saying that the Lions go for it too much on fourth down. And I will say that it does make for some nerve-wracking watching if you're a Lions fan. But if this is their identity, if this is what the Lions want to do, you live by going on for it on fourth down and you die by going for it on fourth down. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with this. This is what they do. This is what they've done all year. It wasn't like he just decided out of nowhere, hey, we're going to go for every fourth down this year or this game. We're going to go for every fourth down. That's not what they're doing. They're doing it every single week. So for people that are saying that he doesn't know what he's doing, people that are saying that he's ruining the season, he ruined the game against the Eagles because he went for it on fourth down. If they convert 2 or 3 of those, we're talking about a whole different story. We're talking about Dan Campbell has the has the back of his team. He wants to put his team in a good position. Dan Campbell's the greatest. Dan Campbell this, Dan Campbell that. But because he didn't convert any fourth downs, Dan Campbell is now the bad goat, not the good goat, the bad goat. Back to Ohtani for a second, because Clay says Ohtani against the Padres this year, 49 at-bats, a home run, 4 RBIs. Maybe the Padres are in his head. 9 hits out of 49 at-bats. He didn't have a good... Maybe that was his thing. Maybe Ohtani was like, I need to start going up to the plate against the Padres and be mean and be mad. Maybe. That whole thing, ridiculous. Ridiculous that someone brought this up as like a thing. Anyway. Any hoot. Should I go with... There's a couple other stories now that we're coming to the end of the show. I'm going to go with this one. And I don't know if anybody knows who I'm not going to go with that one. It's a YouTube streamer, and I don't care, who got arrested for being an idiot, and I don't care. But here, I'll go with this one just because I was so, negative here in the last segment. There is a guy on the PGA Tour, Adam Schenk. And this is what I love about golf sometimes. Adam Schenk, he started 243 PGA Tour events. He finally won one over the weekend. He said, I've putt for PGA Tour wins so many times in my barn. To see one go in was something I'll never forget. I mean, talk about someone who stuck with it. 243 starts in the PGA Tour, and this was his first win. That is dedication to your craft. That is dedication to your craft, sir. All right, I thought I was going to go longer on that, but honestly, I don't have anything more to say about it. But I will tell you about what I'm doing tomorrow. So you know that my second job is with Voice of San Diego. I am doing their podcast with them, and so they are having an event tomorrow, and I am going to be there with them. That's why I'm not going to be here. So they only do these things every once in a while, but it's called Brews and News Live Podcast. It's at Soda Bar on El Cajon Boulevard. And Scott Lewis, the CEO of Voice of San Diego, has secured a big guest, and that is athletic director of the San Diego State Aztecs, JD Wicker. He's going to be there tomorrow, so if anything comes down, we'll bring it to you. But if you're in the area and you're curious, the doors are opening at 6 p.m. at Soda Bar, 3615 El Cajon Boulevard. You have to buy tickets at the door. I'm not sure exactly how much they cost, but they're affordable for sure. And I'll be down there. So that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. Appreciate everybody saying that I have a nice day off. That wasn't really English. And I just realized I didn't do my daily gripe.
What's annoying Skraby today? Let's find out. It's time for the Daily Gripe.
Daily Gripe. I thought this show was great until like the last 5 minutes when I was stumbling all over my words. All right, Daily Gripe for today. It's kind of gross. But when you're in a public restroom and someone walks into the public restroom, like, for example, today, I was washing my hands at the sink. Someone walked in, went into one of the stalls. Just immediately started going to town in that stall. And what I mean by going to town, number 2. My daily gripe is, please wait until I am out of the bathroom. I'm clearly washing my hands. I understand if you have a stomachache, that's one other thing. But I do not want to be washing my hands and just hear a bunch of, disgusting those over and over again. Ugh. Please don't do that. All right, that's my daily gripe. If I'm in the bathroom with you and you need to go number 2, wait till I'm out of the room. All right, thank you everybody for listening. Back with you on Friday. I'll talk to you guys on Thursday. Good night.
Hey, it's been a